What's up, fellas? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Boston Celtics, who suffered a tough loss last night to the LA Lakers, but there's a lot more to talk about here than just last night's game, because this Celtics team has a shot to do something really, really special this year, but there are a couple of things holding them back, and one big thing holding them back, and that being Kemba Walker. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But quickly, before we get started, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Tucker. If you're looking for consistent NBA content, this is a great place to be. You can check out videos on this channel twice a day, every single day. And if you enjoy those videos, you can leave a like rating on them. It helps me out a ton, lets me know that you're enjoying the content, and helps get it out to more people on YouTube. And you check me out at various socials at the bottom of the screen. There's a link tree down in the description below. With those things said, let's talk about Kemba Walker. So honestly, this is a guy that we haven't talked about a ton in a while, just because, you know, the Celtics have been rocking and rolling with their new group. Their, you know, what once was the future is now the present for Boston, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And a few years ago, when it was Hayward and it was Horford and it was Kyrie, those two guys were kind of, you know, a luxury to have on the roster. And now, you know, they're the main guys. And I honestly don't really think that much about Kemba Walker when I think about Boston. I think initially about Tatum and Brown, and then some Marcus Smart stuff. And then that's, you know, then I maybe get to Kemba. And part of that is because, you know, he's had some injury issues at the beginning of this season. But this year so far, it has not been a good look for Kemba. He has definitely struggled from the floor. He has not been able to shoot the ball well from three. He has struggled to be on the floor. He struggled to be, you know, available for games. And when he's out there, he just doesn't look all that confident, and he just doesn't look like Kemba, right? And that's a huge, huge issue because, like, the way that Brown and Tatum have continued to elevate their games, I mean, they've got one of the best wing duos in the entire league, if not the best wing duo in the entire league. And, you know, for the highest paid player on the roster in Kemba, the 12th highest paid player in the league, by the way, to not be performing at even like an all-star level is a huge issue for this team, because the way that it is constructed now, without Horford, without Hayward, obviously Kyrie no longer there, you know, Tatum and Brown can do a lot of things, but they don't have the big anymore now, Horford, to, you know, make up for mistakes defensively and be a good rim roller. You know, Tristan Thompson, Daniel Tice are fine. And they don't have another playmaker like they had with Gordon Hayward anymore. So, like, the emphasis is on Kemba Walker. And I came into the season thinking, well, you know, as long as he can get healthy, as long as he's good to go, you know, this could be a nice season for Kemba, because the opportunities are certainly going to be there. There aren't going to be any Gordon Hayward, you know, mid-range pull-ups. It's all going to be Kemba, Brown, and Tatum, and he just has not capitalized on that. And it seems like right now it's just a rust and an injury thing, and hopefully, you know, as we get further into the season, that corrects itself. But I mean, this is a guy that's a smaller guard, that's getting older, that has had injury issues, and if he never turns it around, I'm not sure anybody would really be all that surprised, right? And the reason that that is a continuing issue is every time I watch Boston, even if they lose, even if they're not playing particularly well defensively, I'm just continually amazed by how good Brown and Tatum have become. Brown, especially this year, who I just made a video about. And I honestly think that, like, if they had all-star level Kemba, if they had, you know, the Kemba right before he came to Boston, you know, his last year in Charlotte, they would be, you know, arguably a finals favorite in the Eastern Conference. I think Brown and Tatum are that good. I think Brad Stevens is that good of a coach, and we don't really know what's happening now with Marcus Smart's injury. But the bottom line would be that, you know, they would be, worst case, like a top 2, top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, and a contender to make the finals. And if they don't have full-strength Kemba Walker, that certainly hurts their chances to do so. And I think it became pretty clear pretty quickly that Boston, you know, maybe was regretting their decision to sign Kemba in the first place, because, you know, this past offseason, they were pretty aggressive in trying to find a way to move Kemba and to get someone to replace him that's going to provide them more, because not only is he the 12th highest paid player in the league this season, but his contract runs through the summer of 2023. And so if Kemba is a problem, he's going to be a problem for the next couple of seasons. And again, as you watch that game last night, it's very clear that, you know, if anything is holding this team back right now, it's Kemba, whether that be from an availability standpoint or whether that be from, you know, an ability standpoint. And so it's a huge, huge concern, and it's something that definitely needs to be corrected here down the road for Boston. Now, in terms of how they could possibly fix it from a roster standpoint, I would be pretty shocked if anybody would be remotely interested in Kemba right now in any kind of trade scenario for any kind of like star or semi-star. I really think that the contract stuff is that bad, and until proven otherwise, and until Kemba proves that, you know, he's a good player again, I'm not sure that the value is really there for other teams. And I also don't know that Boston really wants to start like cashing in on future picks here, you know, in order to get someone to replace Kemba, because Brown and Tatum are still so young, and they're going to have an opportunity for the next 10 years, as long as these guys are healthy and in Boston, they're going to have an opportunity similar to this year every single year, because those guys are that good, they're that young, and they continue to get better year after year. But if they're committed to just kind of, standing pat with this whole Kemba thing, they're stuck with it for, the next few seasons. And that is a huge concern for a team that, as I said, should be competing and should be really good. And it's not that they've been bad in the past with Kemba. It's not that they've been bad in the past with Kyrie or Horford. It's just they always seem to be that team that is right on the edge of doing something, but never actually breaking through. Been to a couple conference finals, have not made the finals. And it's just like, at what point are they really going to break through? And is Kemba going to be the thing that we look back on a couple of years from now that really holds this team back? Now, as a whole, there are still certainly issues on this roster. They're kind of piecing together the big guy thing between Thompson and Tice and Robert Williams out there as well. Outside of Tatum and Brown, the wing stuff is a bit of an issue, whether that's at the 3 or the 4. Of course, Marcus Smart was a solution to a lot of their issues defensively, but we don't really know what's going to be happening now with his injury moving forward. And there's just not a ton here outside of Kemba, Brown, and Tatum, unless you're really excited about any of the role players. Now, we'll kind of see what happens with Peyton Pritchard when he comes back, but I'm not necessarily counting on him as a huge solution for Boston. He's a fine player, but not someone that I'm necessarily thinking is going to be able to fix all of their Kemba-related or otherwise issues. So if we're in a situation now where Smart has suffered a significant injury, which as of the recording of this video, that is unclear, and Kemba Walker is not giving them a significant amount of value, that is a huge problem here moving forward for Boston. So we'll have to keep an eye on them. We'll see what they could potentially do in the trade market or otherwise. I don't know. I really don't know if there's a solution to the Kemba thing right now other than him just turning it around. And that's possible. Like, maybe it is just an injury thing. He gets healthy and then he's ready to rock and roll a couple of years from now, or excuse me, a couple of months from now, a couple of weeks from now. But right now, it's definitely not a good look at all for Boston. I hope they turn it around, because I want as many good teams in the league as possible. And they looked good last night against the Lakers, despite Kemba being awful and barely even noticing he was on the floor. They lost by 1 at home to the Lakers and had a chance to win it with Kemba missing the game-winning shot. So it's not all bad. It's just when you're looking at the ceiling of this team, if Kemba is not going to be a really good player, the ceiling of this team is certainly lowered a significant amount. But that is getting to the end of the first video of the day, and I thank you guys very much for watching. If you're looking for more content from me, the second video of the day will be about the post-James Harden Houston Rockets, who've been playing really well since Harden got traded, but specifically over the last couple of games. We're going to talk about what is working for them and why they could potentially be a playoff team now in the Western Conference that people aren't really paying attention to at the moment. So if you're looking for consistent NBA content, as I said, this is a great place to be. I upload twice a day, every single day on this channel. You can leave a like rating on the videos, and you can check out the various socials at the bottom of the screen as well. With all those things said, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.